got the shaft on that deal. Now, of course, those three games are largely scorned by the Zelda fanbase as not being in canon, which in my opinion is actually correct, seeing as though they were not made by Nintendo, and the original creation team had nothing to do with them. Nintendo itself has apparently gone out of their way to try and deny that these games ever existed, and rightly they should. Though I'm pretty sure Philips would still bank on them if they could. These games are actually considered collector's items nowadays and go for over $200 on auction sites. Unfortunately, I'm one of those sad people that would actually put down that kind of money for a collector's item. But that aside, while Nintendo had nothing to do with those three games, Nintendo had a lot to do with a lot of other properties that bared Zelda's name, but didn't really catch on. Now, before I start on this tangent, I will say that Nintendo is a gaming company. Games are what they do well, and trust me, they do them very, very well, at least with their established continuities. Unfortunately, it seems that when they hand off their properties to other people, that's when the problems start. No matter how much involvement Nintendo seems to have with other properties based off of their licenses, it never seems to go right. Take, for example, the Legend of Zelda cartoon made by Dick Entertainment, people who brought us things like Sonic Sat AM, Sonic Underground, Sonic the Hedgehog, yeah, they did a whole lot of work with Sonic, and the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Now, the Legend of Zelda cartoon was only 13 episodes long, and really only played on Fridays instead of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show segment. The problem is, well, there's no likable characters in this. Now, to be fair, I will say this was during the time when nothing had been established yet. This cartoon was based off of the first two games, and in those times, Zelda and Link and even Ganon had no real personalities, and Hyrule was a very underdeveloped world that didn't have any really set rules yet. Link to the Past was still a long way off, and that was where the development really started to take place. But this still baffles me. Out of all of the different personalities you could have given the characters while you were making this cartoon, you decided to make Zelda into a relatively big tomboy, Link into the most horny, petulant, whiny jackass that you could, making him completely ineffectual as an actual likable hero, and Ganon into a character that could probably be beaten by Cobra Commander. My griping aside, I will confess that the first time I saw this, I really did think of it as being, well, a guilty pleasure, if only because it has that so bad it's good aspect to it that a lot of DiC's different cartoons seem to have. So, if you are interested in it, I would suggest checking it out, if only for its camp value. Just don't expect it to be very relevant to the Zelda that we know today. Although Zelda has never appeared in another cartoon or movie media except for a brief cameo in Captain N the Game Master, Zelda and Link have had their fair share of troubles in comics. A majority of the official Legend of Zelda comics are produced directly by Nintendo and follow the games to a T, and that's one of the main problems. They follow the games too closely. Most of them are pretty embarrassing, especially their attempts at giving Link a personality beyond the silent stoic hero type that he is given in almost every single game. In all fairness, the fan comics, the ones without sex in them mind you, are actually much better than the official comics. And that's actually pretty sad, especially considering that a lot of fan magazines actually do print doujinshi that have great storylines about Zelda, but they never come over to the United States. This idea of Zelda breaking off into another medium was brought to a head in possibly the greatest April Fool's joke I have seen in years. A few years ago, gaming website IGN.com put together a giant, almost 3-minute long fake trailer for a Legend of Zelda movie. It looks really, really good and actually pretty convincing. Most people who didn't stick around to see the end of the trailer actually did not know that this was a fake and started tweeting about it all over the place. Even though at the end it actually does admit that it is in fact an April Fool's joke. Still, I was kind of sad when I reached the end of the trailer and realized that this was fake, because quite honestly, I was kind of looking forward to this. I mean, have we ever had an actual video game movie that was any good? At least in the conventional sense? One that actually followed the games and had high production values. Alright, I'm getting off track. Bottom line is, this trailer is actually pretty cool, and you can find it all over YouTube, so go and take a look at this if you want to be entertained for a little bit. Now I'm going to start to wrap this up because I'm beginning to ramble a little bit, but my point is that I am excited as all hell for Skyward Sword, and you better believe I will have it pre-ordered and sent to my doorstep overnight express the night that it is released, because damn it, this game does look awesome. Now that might be unfair for me to say, and I may be acting all fanboyish about it, but quite honestly, I can't help it. Zelda just has that effect on people, you know? And, well, take a look at this trailer. It really does look like it's shaping up to be something special. And from the demos that I've seen and the interviews that I've heard, it honestly does look like it's going to be a Zelda for the ages. What also excites me is the fact that this one will actually take advantage of the Wii's abilities. Now, we all know that Twilight Princess was indeed a port from the GameCube version, and that really showed, and I explained that when I went over the controls for that game, but in this one, it's all Wii, and it really does look like it's going to take advantage of the hardware the same way that Ocarina of Time took advantage of what it had when it was on the N64. All I can say is, this game is going to be completely and utterly incredible, whether you love or hate Zelda. Well, this brings an end to my retrospective of the Legend of Zelda series. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I can honestly say that it's been a long road for me. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I may end up doing another retrospective sometime down the line, but I think I'm going to wait a while before I do. This one was quite the project. I will also say that I am sorry for talking so long on the same subject, but Zelda is the type of franchise that really does make you think, and it sparks a lot of conversation. However, my thumbs are tired, and I need to go and get back to some of the other things I review on the site. I think I'll go back to the printed word next. But for right now, let's go out on the right note. Let's end this retrospective right. System of a Down, play us out. I'll see y'all next time.
Link, er kommt to town.